You've believed these lies your entire life. And the strangest part is, you never even questioned them. You heard them as a child, repeated them as a teenager, and carried them into adulthood like invisible luggage. You trusted them because everyone else did. Because teachers said them. Because parents repeated them. Because society stamped them as facts. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of the things you think you know aren't just inaccurate. They're completely wrong. Wrong in ways that change how you see yourself, how you understand your body, your mind, the world around you. And in the next few moments, you're going to discover just how easily a myth can slip into your life, shape your beliefs, and stay there for decades, without you ever realizing it. These myths didn't fool just you. They fooled scientists, historians, experts, entire generations. They survived wars. They crossed continents. They spread through classrooms, conversations, social media, and bedtime stories, until they became unquestionable. But today, we're breaking them. We're exposing the everyday facts you thought were rock solid, revealing how they started, why they spread, and the surprising truth hiding underneath them. And as we peel these myths apart, one by one, you might feel a strange mix of shock, disbelief, and maybe even embarrassment. Because some of these are so deeply rooted. You may have repeated them just this morning. But stay with me. Because there's a reason you cannot afford to stop watching now. Take a deep breath. Because everything you thought you knew starts to fall apart right now. Now, before we unravel the first myth, there's something you need to know. This list isn't filled with small mistakes. No, some of these myths strike at the core of what you believe about your own body, about your senses. You will discover myths that rewrite what you think you know about your brain, your heart, your eyes, your memory, your instincts. And the deeper we go, the stranger it gets. Some myths will make you laugh at how easily we all got fooled. Others will make you stare at the screen wondering how they spread in the first place. And one myth near the end may leave you genuinely stunned. But that is exactly why you need to stay through all of them. Let's start with one of the most repeated claims in human history. A myth you've heard in classrooms, movies, and casual conversations. For decades, people have believed that the human brain is mostly unused. Humans only use 10% of their brains. But here's the truth. Not only is this false, it's one of the most misleading ideas ever spread. Brain scans show that even during the simplest tasks, breathing, chewing, blinking, your brain lights up almost entirely. Picture it. A glowing network firing like a city at night. Every region working, communicating, processing. Even when you think you're doing nothing. And the idea that 90% of your brain is just sitting there, unused. It's pure fiction. But if you think that myth was surprising, wait until you hear the next one. Because it doesn't just challenge your mind. It challenges your senses. Now, let's move to a myth that shaped the way millions of people learned about their own bodies. A myth printed in textbooks, drawn in diagrams, and taught in classrooms around the world. For years, you were shown a colorful map of the tongue. Sweet at the tip. Bitter at the back. Sour on the sides. Different parts of your tongue detect different tastes. But the reality? This entire map is wrong. Your tongue doesn't have taste zones. Every part of your tongue can sense every taste. Imagine your tongue not as a divided map, but as one giant, interconnected taste sensor. Capable of detecting sweetness, bitterness, saltiness, umami, and sourness anywhere. No sections. No special zones. Just a full, unified taste system. And if that surprises you, wait until the next myth. Because it's one so massive, so universally believed. It fooled entire generations of travelers. For this next myth, we're stepping far beyond the human body. All the way into orbit. For decades, one claim has been repeated in classrooms, trivia books, and documentaries. A claim so famous, it became one of the most widely accepted facts on Earth. The Great Wall of China is visible from space. It sounds believable, right? A wall stretching thousands of miles. One of the largest human-made structures ever built. But here's the truth that astronauts have confirmed again and again. You cannot see the Great Wall of China from space with the naked eye. The wall blends into the terrain. its colors matching the land around it almost perfectly. From orbit, it disappears. Imagine staring down at Earth from hundreds of kilometers above. Seeing oceans, continents, storms, cities. But the Great Wall? Nothing. Not even a thin line. But if that myth fooled the entire world, the next one hits even closer. Because it involves your own heartbeat. This next myth targets something deeply personal. Something happening inside your body every single second. For generations, people have believed that sneezing triggers a moment of biological danger. A brief instant where your heart simply stops. Your heart stops for a moment when you sneeze. But here's the truth. Your heart doesn't stop at all. When you sneeze, pressure builds in your chest. That pressure changes your heart's rhythm for a split second. But it never stops beating. Think of it like the rhythm shifting in a song. Not pausing. Just momentarily adjusting. Your body is far more stable than this myth suggests. But if you think sneezing myths are strange, the next one is even brighter. And far more dangerous. Because it fools almost everyone. This next myth is one of the most dramatic, and one of the most wrong. It's been repeated in safety lectures, movies, even everyday conversations. Painting lightning is something that spreads its strikes evenly, never returning to the same spot. Lightning never strikes the same place twice. But the truth? Lightning doesn't care about fairness, variety, or taking turns. It strikes the same places over and over. Some buildings, like the Empire State Building, get hit dozens of times every single year. Picture it. The same tower. The same metal. The same point on the skyline. Lit up again and again by nature's most violent burst of energy. It's not random. Lightning seeks the tallest, fastest, easiest path. Even if it's the same spot. But if you think lightning is predictable, the next myth is even more surprising. Because it's about a creature you probably underestimated your entire life. This next myth is one of the most popular in the world. And one of the most unfair. For years, goldfish have been portrayed as tiny creatures with tiny minds. Unable to remember anything for more than a few seconds. Goldfish only have a 3-second memory. But here's the truth. Goldfish have surprisingly strong memories. They can remember faces. Feeding times. Tank layouts. Even simple routines. For months. Imagine a goldfish watching you walk into the room. Recognizing you. Anticipating food. And knowing exactly where its favorite hiding spot is. They're far more intelligent than this myth suggests. And if you think memory myths end here, the next one doesn't just rewrite what you know about animals. It rewrites what you think you know about your origins. This next myth touches one of the biggest misunderstandings in the story of humanity. A myth that creates confusion in classrooms and debates alike. For generations, people have repeated the idea that humans came directly from chimpanzees. As if they were our earlier version. Humans evolved from chimpanzees. But here's the truth. We didn't come from chimps. We share a common ancestor. Think of it as a branching point. One ancient species that split into two evolutionary paths. Picture a tree with a thick trunk. And two separate branches growing upward. One becomes modern humans. One becomes modern chimpanzees. We're relatives, not descendants. And if you think that myth twists history, the next one twists something even closer. The color of your own blood. This next myth lives deep in everyday conversation. A belief shaped by the blue lines beneath your skin. For years, people assumed that your veins were blue because your blood was blue. Your blood is blue until exposed to air. But here's the truth. Your blood is always red. It only looks blue through your skin because of the way light is absorbed and reflected. Imagine shining a flashlight through tinted glass. The color changes. Not the light itself. That's what your skin does. It filters the light. Not the blood. And if you think that myth crawled into your life unnoticed, wait until you hear the next one. Because it involves something you definitely do while sleeping. Now we enter one of the creepiest myths ever spread. A myth that has haunted millions at bedtime. The idea that while you sleep, spiders silently crawl into your mouth. Again and again throughout the year. You swallow 8 spiders a year in your sleep. But here's the truth. This never happens. Spiders avoid humans. They sense movement, heat, and vibrations. And your sleeping body feels like a loud, shaking earthquake to them. Picture a spider crawling toward your face. Feeling your breath. your heartbeat. And immediately turning away. They want nothing to do with you. And if that myth didn't sit well with you, the next one hits much closer. Because it involves something you hear every single day. This next myth is one you've probably heard from a parent, a teacher, or someone who didn't like the sound. For years, people believed that cracking your knuckles was slowly destroying your joints. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. But here's the truth. There's no scientific link at all. That popping sound, it's just gas bubbles collapsing inside the joint fluid. Like tiny pockets of air bursting underwater. Loud, but harmless. Your bones aren't grinding. Your cartilage isn't wearing down. Your joints aren't being damaged. And if you think that was surprising, the next myth changes how you see something you use every single day. This next myth grew with the rise of technology. A belief repeated so often, it became common knowledge. The idea that the device you hold every day, the one pressed against your skin, is the dirtiest object you own. Your phone is the dirtiest thing you own. But here's the reality. Your kitchen sponge carries far more bacteria. Your sponge is a warm, damp, food-covered paradise for microbial life. A perfect breeding ground. Imagine a microscopic city of bacteria thriving in those tiny sponge pores. Millions of organisms multiplying every hour. Your phone. Dirty, yes. But nowhere near the worst. And if you think hygiene myths end there, the next one targets something even more essential. Your daily survival. For decades, health advice around the world has echoed one number. 8. The idea that every human, no matter the weather, body size, lifestyle, or culture, needs exactly 8 glasses of water daily. Everyone must drink 8 cups of water a day. But the truth is far more flexible. Your body's needs change constantly, based on activity, temperature, diet, and health. There is no universal number. Think of your hydration like a fuel gauge. Sometimes full, sometimes low. Always changing based on how hard your engine is working. And if you think that myth was shaped by health trends, the next one was shaped by actual war. This next myth has a fascinating twist. Because it wasn't born from science, but from strategy. For generations, people believed that eating carrots could give you superhuman night vision. Carrots drastically improve night vision. But the truth? This myth began as World War II propaganda. To hide the real reason pilots could see so well at night. New radar technology. Carrots help your eyes, yes. But they won't turn you into a nighttime superhero. Picture biting into a carrot expecting your vision to shift like night goggles. It doesn't happen. And speaking of eyes, the next myth is about something you've probably worried about more than once. This myth has been used by parents for generations. A gentle warning meant to protect your eyesight. The idea that reading in low light permanently harms your eyes. Dim light damages your eyes. But here's the truth. Dim light doesn't cause permanent damage. It simply strains your eyes temporarily. Like stretching a muscle that needs rest. Imagine your eyes gently returning to normal once you stop. Resetting like elastic. And if that myth made you rethink your childhood, the next one takes us into a darker topic. The idea that your body continues growing after life ends. This next myth is haunting. A claim repeated in crime shows, horror movies, and urban legends. The belief that even after death, your hair and nails continue to grow. Hair and nails keep growing after you die. But the truth is far less supernatural. They don't grow at all. What actually happens is that your skin loses moisture, shrinks, and pulls back. Imagine the surface drying like old leather, making hair and nails appear longer, when nothing is really growing. And if that myth unsettled you, wait until the final one. Because myth 16 reveals something most people have gotten wrong their entire lives. For the final myth on our list, we end with one of the most iconic images in popular culture. A bullfighter waving a bright red cloth. And a charging bull, driven into rage by the color red. For generations, people believed bulls had a fiery hatred for the color itself. Bulls attack because they hate the color red. But here's the truth. Bulls are colorblind to red. They don't see the color the way you do. They're not reacting to the shade. Not reacting to the brightness. Not reacting to the pigment. They're reacting to movement. The rapid whipping of the cloth. The sudden shifts. The dramatic gestures of the matador. That's what triggers the charge. Imagine waving a blue cloth. Or a white cloth? Or a yellow cloth? To the bull. They're all the same. It's the motion that provokes them. Not the color. And with that, we reach the end of the myths you've believed your entire life. The ones passed down through stories, movies, classrooms, and culture. But the truth behind each one reminds us of something important. Not everything we're taught is true. Not everything we hear is reality. And sometimes, the biggest surprises come from the things we were most certain about. Now that every myth has been uncovered, there's only one question left. Which one fooled you the most? Tell me in the comments. And if you want a part 2, drop the next myth you want exposed. A whole world of misconceptions is still out there, waiting to be uncovered.